Hey kids, this is Chef Jack. Here at I Love Comics, our Jack Kirby month is going strong. In addition to our examination of Kirby's works and the effects that he's had on comics and his own personal history with them, every once in a while we're just going to do something for the fun of it. Like now, for instance. This is my list of the top 10 Fantastic Four issues featuring the work of Jack Kirby. Number 10. Fantastic Four number 1. This is the one that started it all, not just for the Fantastic Four, but for the entire Marvel Universe. So I felt obligated to put it somewhere on the list. However, the story's a little bit on the simple side. It obviously feels like Kirby and Lee hadn't found their footing yet. It does tell the story of how the Fantastic Four got their powers, and their meeting with their very first supervillain, the Mole Man. It also introduces us to Monster Island, which of course would be a bigger part of the Marvel Universe later on. All in all, it's still a pretty solid comic book. Number 9. Fantastic Four number 8. This issue introduces us to the Puppet Master, who is of course the father of Ben Grimm's girlfriend, Alicia Masters. When you describe the plot and you say that, well, the Fantastic Four fight a villain with mind control, it doesn't actually just describe the intricate nature of the way that Kirby and Lee put together this particular issue. It is amazingly entertaining, and it introduced a really intriguing villain that would come back to haunt the Fantastic Four multiple times. Number 8. The Fantastic Four number 2. This issue introduced the alien Skrulls to the Marvel Universe. It's also the first time Johnny Storm uses the phrase "flame on" to activate his powers. The story, entitled The Fantastic Four Meet the Skrulls from Outer Space, would of course lead directly to Fantastic Four Annual number 17 and to the Skull Kill Crew, but as I noted in the If I Wrote Fantastic Four video, there is still a story hook just laying there waiting for someone to pick up and run with. Number 7. Fantastic Four number 51. Hot on the heels of the Coming of Galactus story, which, spoiler alert, you will be seeing later on in this list, came This Man, This Monster, which to this day is considered one of the best stories that's centered on the Thing. It's all about the man inside the rocky shell, and it's beautifully written. It's just beautifully written. If you haven't read it, find it somewhere and read it. It is a definitive characterization of Ben Grimm, and it is the bedrock upon which everything that followed is based. Number 6. The Fantastic Four number 5. This is the issue that introduced Dr. Doom, who is still, in my opinion, the second greatest villain in the Marvel Universe. Yeah, sorry Victor, the prize goes to Wilson Fisk, but that's another list entirely. The story in this issue is a fun time travel jaunt, which is something that Marvel usually avoided during the Silver Age, especially when compared to DC, where the heroes seem to go time traveling every second Tuesday. The story also introduces the idea that Dr. Doom uses robot duplicates as decoys. It's just fun, guys. Number 5. Fantastic Four number 4. During the Golden Age, Timely Comics, which would later be rebranded Marvel Comics, had 3 major characters: the Human Torch, the Submariner, and Captain America. They brought the first back as a significantly different character, and they brought the third back as an ice cube. So when it came to the second, Stan and Jack decided to bring the Submariner back pretty much as he had always been in 1940s. He was an anti-hero who, despite his positive qualities, had an ambivalent relationship to the land dwellers. You know, plus he was a little bit of a dick, let's be honest. Number 4. Fantastic Four number 44. Boy, that's a lot of fours. In a story entitled The Coming of the Inhumans, the Fantastic Four discover a race known as the Inhumans, who were unknown and in hiding. It begins with a confrontation with Gorgon, who is trying to capture Medusa, who, if you were familiar with the previous issues, had been hanging around the Fantastic Four prior to this. And it turns out, of course, that she's an Inhuman. The adventure takes the Fantastic Four to the Inhumans' hidden kingdom, where you get to meet Black Bolt, and you get to meet Crystal, and you get to meet, the entire lineup that we come to know and love later on. Johnny Storm falls in love with Crystal. we get a big fight. The final issue of this three-part story actually begins the next entry on this list. And finally, coming in a three-way tie for first place, are Fantastic Four number 48, 49, and 50. These three issues make up the story The Coming of Galactus, which even after nearly 60 years is still considered one of the greatest comic book stories ever. Not just a Fantastic Four story, but comic book stories as a whole. There's like no topping the original Galactus story. It's a story that not only introduced the Planet Eater to us, it also introduced the Silver Surfer and the Watcher. It's a story that saw the Fantastic Four face down insurmountable odds. And the scope of this first Galactus story was spread over three very satisfying issues, and it built up to the Human Torch's mad dash to retrieve the Ultimate Nullifier and Alicia Masters' plea for the Silver Surfer's lingering conscience. It's one of the most influential stories in the history of the medium, and it remains one of my favorites. And you can't top it. It's just one of the best. So there it is, kids. My choices for the top 10 issues of Fantastic Four to feature Jack Kirby's work. What did you think, though? Was I right? Was I wrong? Did I leave one of your favorites off the list? Did I put one of your least favorites on the list? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, please click the like button, and if you really liked it, how about sharing it with your friends so they can take a look at it? If you think what Englentine and I are doing here is a good thing and you want to help us out, we do have a Patreon page and a VidMe page linked in the info below. Feel free to hop on over, drop $1 or $2 in the till. But even if you don't, we want to thank you for your time and attention. Thank you very, very much for watching.